this station and this show, from patronizing our advertisers to just tuning in whenever you have time. I appreciate it, and all the time that you give us, even if it's just a little slice of your day. There's enough on the sports docket to talk about today. There is a bunch of things to get into. I will have to get into the spiel about platforms, but before I do even that, right, like the list of things to do before I talk about stuff just continues to grow. Before I do that, I want to talk about the Hot News Talk Radio NASCAR Sprint Cup Series contest. You can go to hotnewstalkradio.com and register. You can guess the first, second, and third place winners of the Sprint Cup Series race this weekend for a chance to win $124 in cash and $124 in Five Guys food, which is a fantastic restaurant, right? Like the shakes are amazing, the fries are amazing, the burgers are amazing. You would get $124. You just have to guess first, second, and third place of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race this upcoming weekend. So, I mean, if I won the cash, I'd probably still just go to Five Guys. If I'm completely honest, I like that place. Like, you put jalapenos on the burger, crazy. Where can you find us and where can we find you? Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Those are the usual suspects. If you search Hot News Talk Radio, we are the first thing that comes up. If you want to talk about what's trending and what's live, those are the places to go. If you want to listen to us, you can go to youtube.com, stream us live, or listen to our classic episodes. We never call them old. You also get to see what we look like. But if that's not your cup of tea, you can go to hotnewstalkradio.com, stream us live. And while you're there, make sure you register for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series contest for your opportunity to win $124 cash weekly. You got to do it. And, of course, the TuneIn Radio app. Simply go to your favorite mobile store, download the TuneIn Radio app for free, search Hot News Talk Radio, give us a favorite, press play, and you'll have Hot News Talk Radio everywhere you go. So on this show, I frequently, I like to talk about morality in sports. I can't help myself. There's too many opportunities presented on a daily basis. There's always something happening. Somebody's breaking some rule or doing some crazy thing, or sexism continues to exist. And so we're here. I don't know if that's going to be the crux of the show. It just happens to be that we had a number of stories line up today so that's what we're talking about. And of course, we'll talk a little bit about a little fun as well. Because, we always have this debate, right? Like, who is the real you? Who is the real you? And by that, I mean real university. You've got some schools arguing for the title of quarterback you or wide receiver you, which you could easily put Tennessee up in that conversation. Running back you, where you could easily put Georgia in that conversation. So we're going to go through those schools and talk about which school has produced the best talent at different positions. I think it's a conversation I'd like to extend into the week, especially as we've got the draft coming up and it's that time of year. We're talking about this kind of thing. Who is the real you? So we'll get to that later in the show. But first, allow me a little bit of senseless moralizing, if I may. Just talking about morality. I want to start with Gino Auriemma. He's the head coach of UConn. This is a polarizing subject because it deals with women's sports. And the fact of the matter is we view women's athletics as inherently inferior, for better or worse. It's not, it's not something that anybody means to do, right? Like, nobody's doing this on purpose. You're just out to hate women's sports. But we have a society that is structured and built in such a way that when we see women playing sports, unless they're A, representing America, and B, winning, we don't want anything to do with it, right? So the WNBA, do we have a lot of talented athletes there? We do. We have Sue Bird, and we have Angel McCoughtry playing down in Atlanta. I mean, you've got people all over the league. Brittany Griner at 7 feet tall. You've got talented athletes. Skylar Diggins out of the University of Notre Dame. There are women who play basketball at a high level, but our interest never seems to go there quite to the degree of the NBA. Okay, there are plenty of alternatives for women's football. most of them are not good or of very high quality because simply the interest is not there. Therefore, the money is not there. Therefore, the talent is not there. If you could set up a system somehow that would pay women to play sports at a high level, I'm telling you, there'd be people there. That's just how that works. But the interest has to be there first, and we're just inherently uninterested. And I have a hard time believing that it's because the quality is quote unquote worse. But we do have different definitions of quality. When we look at men's athletics, what do we like the most? We like the anger, and we like the vengeance, and we like the testosterone, and we like the violence. These are things that we do not associate with women, and therefore do not associate with women's sports. Okay, so now you come to a place like UConn. Gino Auriemma is the head coach of UConn, and he was being asked several questions today, including whether or not the rim should be lowered in women's college basketball, which I hope he said no. I haven't checked. I just heard. But I hope he said no. I hope he said no, because part of the skill of playing basketball is getting a ball to clear a 10-foot rim. Can't lower it, okay? I don't care if there's less dunking in women's basketball. Don't lower it. I don't watch basketball just for the dunks. And neither do you. Neither does anybody, because Steph Curry is showing you that the shot, the three-point shot, the long shot, is as exciting as a dunk. He does it with a lot of flair. His crossovers are sick. Steph Curry is showing you dunks are not inherently the only exciting play in basketball. So it can't just be that women don't play above the rim like their male counterparts. Okay, I'm telling you that aggression and that violence that we associate with the men's game, we don't look for it in the women's game. And we, a lot of times, don't even really look. We just assume it's not there. The women's U.S. national soccer team, the reason why we like them is because the front of that jersey says USA, and they win a lot. And they're very good, and they're better than most of their competition. The issue with UConn, because UConn's winning a lot, so they've got one of those check marks boxed off. UConn is winning a lot of games, but what they're not doing, and boy, I had I had an incident just now. I lived. If you're watching online, maybe you could find out. Maybe you could find out what it is. But if you are someone who is watching women's college basketball, and you're seeing the skills, and you're seeing the way that the ball moves and how well the plays are designed and run, you know, you would see the game for what it is. UConn is not wearing USA on the front of the jersey because people cared about women's basketball during the Olympics. They cared during the Olympics because the front of the jersey says USA. The front of that jersey says UConn. Doesn't matter that they're dominant. Doesn't matter that they steamroll everybody that they run into. Doesn't matter. And the popularity of that school should rival the popularity of the New England Patriots. Because why? The Patriots win all the time. Doesn't have to say USA on the front of that jersey. It should rival the popularity of John Wooden's UCLA teams, but they don't. Why? Because it doesn't say USA at the front of that jersey. And for whatever reason, we've just moved women into that second class where we only root for them if it means America does well. And that's, quite frankly, ridiculous. It's a fairly preposterous notion. And you're listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. We're talking about the problem of women's college basketball and women's sports in general. Because we see the sport as inferior, we are not able to appreciate what it is that the University of UConn is doing. They've built something in Connecticut that is amazing. They're great. Now, I do understand the critics as well. It's not like there aren't critics to UConn, that UConn is sucking up all the talent. The reason why there's no parity in women's college sports is because UConn is sucking up all the talent. But UConn is only sucking up all the talent because the system was broken to begin with. And the only way that these women can get recognition for what it is that they do is to go to UConn. It's the only way that people will see you. Okay? You go to Texas A&M, UConn smokes you, we forget about you. Okay? Texas, very good basketball team. Put up a great fight against UConn. Probably the toughest team that UConn's ever faced. UConn and Texas keep butting heads, and Texas keeps actually making UConn work. But we don't remember Texas because ultimately UConn wins, and their distant memory in the face of the dominance of that school. And so UConn continues to get bigger. The rich get richer, as they say. They get bigger as a brand, and all the other schools continue to recede. Tennessee, great women's college basketball powerhouse, fading away. Notre Dame, fading away. Texas A&M, fading away. Baylor, fading away. And you're looking at all of these things and going, where is all the talent going? It's going to UConn, or it's not playing college sports at all because you don't get the opportunity to shine. And we've got to stop looking at women's sports as just some side thing that you watch, that you take your daughters to go see the WNBA because your daughter's a girl. You wouldn't take your son to go see the WNBA, but you would take your daughter to see the NBA. It's a double standard, okay? Your alternatives for that. Your alternatives for football, lingerie football. Fantastic. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing for your daughters to go see, right? You want to take your 7-year-old loves football, wants to watch women play football. Where are you taking her? You can't. There is nowhere to go because there is no system for it, because we're sexist, and we need to look in that mirror. I mean, we talked about this yesterday, that having that mindset, it's there, right? It's not wrong to have a mindset. It's not wrong to have a mindset. It's when you don't own that you have it and you do nothing about it, that's the problem. We talked about it yesterday with Coach K. Coach K chastises an Oregon player for celebrating too much, like you're too good to celebrate like that, and then lied about it. The problem wasn't that Coach K has an old mentality and said something to a guy. It's that he wouldn't own what he said. You got to own your mentality. Understand that your mentality is sexist, that I don't sit down and watch the WNBA, even as I'm telling you, you should. And I'd like to, but we don't make a big stink about it, ever. Ever. And the ways to go about doing that has to start from the very beginning with how we talk, the ways that we talk. You can't tell somebody, oh, you hit like a girl. You tell somebody that, and a girl hears that, you might lose the next Ronda Rousey. She might see that as a bad thing. You might lose her. You're not growing that sport. And here's the kicker, too. Like, if you want to talk about it, all right, something absolutely historical is happening in the women's college basketball Final Four. And it's not good history. It's not good history. I'm a little surprised. I saw it and I heard it mentioned in a few other media, and I was blown away at this historical fact that's coming to the forefront here about women's college basketball. All 4 of the Final 4 coaches are men of women's college basketball, including Gino Auriemma, who's a fantastic coach, by the way. This is not to take anything away from him as a coach. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. But the issue is, you look at men's college basketball, we've never had a woman coach, not head coach. And we've got a long, long, long way to go before it ever becomes that. We don't have that same crossover. Becky Hammon coaches the San Antonio Spurs to a summer league title, and along the way displaying all of the intelligence, the cunning, the command that you would need to be a head coach and coach men, because again, we have this notion of women that they're weak and that they're soft, and boy, you put them in charge of a group of men. Will those men listen? Maybe, maybe not. But why those men would listen wouldn't be the weakness of the woman. It would be the stubbornness of the men. It'd be the mentality of the men. That if a guy is going to sit there and say, I'm not going to listen to no woman, I mean, then there's no amount of toughness that's making that work. Okay? It's just not. It's not an issue of toughness. Okay? Some people aren't going to be tough enough for that job. There are men that aren't. It's not a gender issue. And we don't see this correctly, and we don't look at this head on, and we don't look at this right. And we're going to continue to have this schism, I think, in women's athletics, where one team has to dominate for there to even be attention. Like if UConn weren't as good as UConn is, right? Say Gino Auriemma, not a great coach. Say Elena Deladon, not a good enough player. Say this team gets lackadaisical and lazy, and they know they're good, so they take some games off and just start jobbing it and get beaten. Then you know what? We don't have any attention on women's college sports. We'll talk about whoever it was that upset UConn, and then we'll forget about it. Put it in a shelf and pack it away. And that's wrong, by the way. I understand that I'm on the wrong side of this issue because I understand I don't watch softball. Okay, I don't, unless I know somebody playing. I don't watch softball, and I don't watch the WNBA. And outside of UConn, I don't watch women's college basketball. But part of it is I watch, and we're all collectively to blame for this, I watch what is of relevance to others. And we as a society have decided that this is not of relevance to us. It's crazy. If you're interested in advertising, Hot News Talk Radio is a great place to go. We care about you so much. We'd love to see your message get out, and you get the opportunity to shine. If you're interested, you can call us at the Hot News hotline, 423-800-8949. That is 423-800-8949. And if you email us at am1240sales@gmail.com, you can get in touch with Mr. Eric Judd, and he can hook you up. You can also email me at keonrose@gmail.com. You can tweet at me any inquiries that you have. Advertising with Hot News Talk Radio is a great way to get your voice heard. I want to talk about another story that does involve a little bit of sexism. Just a little bit, because, that it seems to be the theme of the day. It just does. And it involves the Lakers. And I suppose this is a Lakers story that everyone cares about. It's the perfect story out of the TMZ age. It's perfect for the era that we're in, that we've got young basketball players in the league, 18, 19 years old. You want to know what kinds of decisions they're going to make? Yeah, well, these are the kinds of decisions that you can't account for, right? Like a guy's not doing drugs, a guy respects his mother and father and does everything you're supposed to do, does well in school, is a great athlete, is a great performer out on the court, treats his teammates well. But there's still some things that guys can do that they're immature. And it's an age thing, okay? It's an age thing, and it's a little bit of a gender thing in this story. And the story, you must have heard it by now because it's been on ESPN TV all day. Like if there's no way you could have avoided this possible story. We'll start the story and pick it up on the other side because it's got a fantastic plot twist. Nick Young, shooting guard for the Los Angeles Lakers, is engaged to the rapper Iggy Azalea. Now, her music, not my cup of tea, but for whatever it's worth, she's very popular, very famous. Nick Young was engaged to her. They were going to be married. There were rumors that there was going to be delays to their wedding. They just said it was a scheduling conflict or whatever it was. And as the story continued to develop, D'Angelo Russell, the Lakers rookie point guard, and a guy I think he's going to be very, very good in the NBA, have a very good future in the league, did something that only a immature 19-year-old would do because it involves a cell phone and social media, as always. D'Angelo Russell was talking to Nick Young about women. Nick Young basically admitted to cheating on Iggy Azalea with a 19-year-old that he met out clubbing with. And D'Angelo Russell records this entire conversation, says at the very end of the conversation, "Hey, thanks for talking to my camera." Nick Young goes, "Wait, what?" And I don't think D'Angelo posted it anywhere. I don't think that he posted it anywhere to be intentional or to be hurtful. He says he got hacked. This is actually the rare time that a person got hacked that it makes sense that they would get hacked, because the TMZs of the world, the Deadspins of the world, they're licking their chops to get their hands on a story like this. The plot twist comes in to me The plot twist comes in where it's about how the Lakers treat D'Angelo Russell now. They treat D'Angelo Russell much differently in a way that you might expect, but there's a little bit of a twist there. And we'll get back to you with that one here on the other side. You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose. More sports talk, talking about gender and sports and which team is the real you. Quarterback you, running back you, kicker you. Who's got the best? Next.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240. You need a place for your party or maybe a wedding reception for 100 or even more. Maybe you'd like to host a small trade show for your business, and you need a very affordable venue. Are you looking for a place for your birthday gala or services to start up a church? Look no further than the Hidden Gem in Hickson. It's an overlooked, newly appointed reception hall right here in Hickson, Tennessee. Big space, small price. That's right, big space, small price. Call Mr. Chu and ask for a tour. 316-7388. That's 423-316-7388. He'll tell you a lot more about the venue. Rent this venue today. Just call 423-316-7388 and ask for Mr. Chu.
Do you feel better outside your home or business than in? Indoor air quality is important. Mildew, mold, smoke, water, and rodent damage are prime causes of poor indoor air quality. Ducts, Indoor Air Professionals, better known as Duct Busters, cleans HVAC systems using 127 definable Duct Busters steps. Let Mark Thompson address the indoor air quality at your business to help reduce employee illnesses. Prevent fires by cleaning your dryer vents. Mark and his parents, Dick and Joan Thompson, have been building our local economy and helping local people with HVAC systems 16 years. Ducts, Indoor Air Professionals. Call 876-9907. 876-9907. Ducks. Call now.
We're going to kill them all. We're going to kill them all. Let them cough. Let them wheeze. Let them sneeze. We're going to kill every one of them.
We're going to stop you dead in your tracks. Black mold has been known to mimic ailments such as asthma, emphysema, and other ailments that affect the well-being of your body. Black mold is the silent killer. Fight back today with a free estimate from PuroClean. The paramedics of property damage is PuroClean. Call 875-6136 for your free inspection and estimate today. And no, bleach does not kill mold. In fact, bleach is primarily made up of water and adds more moisture to your mold. The mold experts at PuroClean use proven products and state-of-the-art science equipment. They'll remove all traces of that deadly killer black mold. Call PuroClean now at 875-6136. Plus, your homeowner's insurance may cover it. Call PuroClean today at 875-6136.
We're going to kill every one of them.
Not if PuroClean has anything to do with it. Call PuroClean today at 875-6136.
Expect increasing clouds and milder weather out there through the nighttime. Lows only around 60. For Thursday, morning showers and thunder showers will pass through. Then the break in the action, highs lower 70s. Then another round of scattered showers and storms late with drier weather returning on Friday. Join us for a great worship experience at Abba's House in Hickson, featuring inspiring messages by Pastor Ron Phillips and activities for all ages. Services start Sunday mornings at 10:30. More at abbashouse.com. And I'm Source Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
When the weather turns bad, turn to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. On the net, hotnewstalkradio.com. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. From the Hot News Talk Radio Weather Center. Chattanooga, we've got you covered. When the weather turns bad, the Tennessee Valley turns to Hot News Talk Radio.
Go, 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 go.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your Hot News Now update. A Facebook video purports to show a fight that broke out at the pinstrikes on Lee Highway and Highway 153. The cell phone video appears to show a fight breaking out and then a teenager pulling out a gun. Reports say that over the PA system, everyone under the age of 18 without a guardian was asked to leave. It's also been reported that some arrests have been made, although that is not verified. In Georgia, the GBI has arrested a Tunnel Hill police officer named Scott Renault, who's 47, after they say he stole over $37,000 from the Tunnel Hill Police Department's evidence room. The GBI alleges that the missing money came from multiple traffic stops that Renault conducted in the year 2015. He's now been arrested on 1 count of violation of oath of office, 2 counts of theft by taking. He turned himself into the Whitfield County Jail following the issuance of his arrest warrants. A defendant has been named now following a police chase that ended in a wreck on East 23rd Street. Jeffrey Gilliam has been named as a defendant. He's now pending charges from the HCSO and the Fort Oglethorpe Police. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on Hot News Talk Radio.
Hot News Talk 1240.
The allergies are kicking my butt, y'all. The struggle is very visceral. Okay, it's a reality out here. So, yeah, if you got your Claritin, your Zyrtec, your Benadryl, I don't know what you need to take. But if you're fighting the allergy fight right now, which I got activated. Yes, I was waiting for it to come. It usually comes earlier in March, but this year it took its time. I thought, oh, maybe I beat it. No, I didn't beat it. I didn't win that one. The Los Angeles Lakers have reacted to D'Angelo Russell, their teammate, outing cheating from his teammate, Nick Young, recording the incident, and it leaked to social media. We don't know how. We don't know why. Cloud servers can be hacked. Okay. In all honesty, if D'Angelo Russell had an iPhone, all of that information is automatically backed up on iCloud, their cloud server, which we say cloud, and cloud sounds mysterious and that we've just got all of this data magically floating around in the air. A cloud is a series of interconnected computers, basically, that store information. You lose it sends a message to that computer, you download it again. Like it's not a magical mist in the air that you've just got your information passing back and forth over your head. It doesn't work that way. All right. So we can dispel that. You can be hacked. He said he was hacked for once, because athletes say this all the time. And I don't believe him. I actually think that maybe D'Angelo Russell was hacked because he doesn't gain anything from this. He clearly hasn't gained anything from this. Everyone is out to get him. His own teammates have turned their back on him. And the plot twist for me here is twofold. The first plot twist is how the Los Angeles Lakers have been acting like a bunch of high schoolers in their treatment of D'Angelo Russell, giving him the cold shoulder and things of that nature. That just the one story says that D'Angelo Russell went to sit down next to teammate Lou Williams, and Lou Williams got up and walked away. Lou Williams got up and walked away. The same Lou Williams who has at one point 2 girlfriends at the same time. More specifically, he had a girlfriend and his girlfriend had a girlfriend. How is their judgment coming from Lou Williams? You, of all human beings on earth, Lou Williams. Okay. All right. Is that the most high school thing ever? D'Angelo Russell goes to sit down in the cafeteria. His Laker teammates go away and leave him alone. Like, that happened to me in high school. In high school. Okay, which for me, I started high school 12 years ago. Okay? That happened to a nerd like myself while I was calculating WAR and baseball defensive player stats. Okay, I was a bigger nerd than everyone. That happened 12 years ago. You know what happens at Hot News Talk Radio if I make somebody mad? I I get a strongly written email from Mr. David Tulis. I'll get a text from Confederate Mike, and Russell might threaten to kill me with his rare Pepe. Like that's it. That's all we've got. We don't do this. We're adults. Okay? D'Angelo Russell's mistake, he's not an adult. He's 19. I mean, sure. Okay, in the eyes of the law, he's an adult, but let's face it. Did you make mature decisions when you were 19 years old? Because I didn't. I was an idiot. And now, in fairness to my parents didn't actually let me out of the house to harm myself. And I was a recluse anyway. I like to stay at home. But trust me, I wasn't smart. And D'Angelo Russell did a stupid thing at 19, like many of you probably did. Okay? The stupid thing he did was record it. If he did release it to social media, that's stupid too, but then he's more culpable. I just don't think that he did. There's nothing to gain from that. Like, it's not funny, and I'm sure he realizes it's not funny. If this story develops and I'm wrong about that, trust me, I'll reverse course. But it just seems like such a weird thing to do. But it's interesting how nobody is talking about Nick Young, who this entire thing wouldn't have happened if he hadn't cheated. Isn't that odd? Like, we're mad at D'Angelo Russell, and we do the whole man thing, like you don't snitch and you don't tell on other men, and like look, if someone's doing something wrong, you can. But also, D'Angelo Russell didn't snitch. If he did this on purpose, then he snitched. And that's still not the worst thing that ever happened to a person. But if he didn't, then he didn't snitch. He was just stupid in recording it. But none of us are pointing the finger at the guy that cheated on his fiance. Does that not seem weird and odd? And it is built around some form of sexism because we just expected that. If the shoe were on the other foot, if it was Iggy Azalea talking to, I don't know, Nicki Minaj, because she's also a female rapper, and Nicki was recording on the phone about how Iggy Azalea went and cheated in the club with a 19-year-old boy, I don't think we get mad at Nicki. I think we get mad at Iggy Azalea for cheating. It's a double standard. And the fact that we don't see it's a double standard, that to me is the biggest plot twist of all. We really don't have a problem with Nick Young cheating. Or if we do, it's not a big enough problem to overshadow what D'Angelo Russell did. And of the two things, D'Angelo's is less worse. It is. One is a betrayal of trust with a teammate, which is bad. You never want to do that. If you have a team, doesn't matter if it's a sports team, business team, construction team, architecture team, cooking team, you don't want to betray that trust with your teammates. It makes it very hard to work with them and hard to work with you, which is why all of the Lakers are acting like a bunch of high schoolers and leaving young D'Angelo Russell to his own devices. But you know what's worse? Betraying the trust of somebody you're going to spend the rest of your life with, and you were prepared to because you bought him a ring. And it seems strange to me that of the two offenses, betraying your team and betraying your future spouse, we're going to point the finger at the guy that betrayed his team, possibly on accident. That's weird to me. That strikes me as very strange. I'm not a rocket scientist, but I don't think you need to be one to see that this is weird. Where can you find us? Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Make sure to check us out. Search Hot News Talk Radio. We're the first thing that comes up, and we respond. 100% response rate. I mean, like, we're the only people who can even say that. You can go to Facebook and check it out. It actually has the stats right there on the front page, and we're sports fans, right? What says more than the stats? Now, I want to talk about the U.S. men's national soccer team. I don't want to bore you to death with soccer talk, mostly because when it comes to U.S. soccer, I don't really know that much about it either. I watch all of my soccer overseas, to be quite honest with you. I don't care until the World Cup, but I have no qualms saying that. I know many of you don't either. In fact, I would go with most of you don't either. That's America, okay? It's not football. We don't care. It's not the NBA Finals. We don't care. It's not March Madness. We don't care. And in the South, if it's not college football and NASCAR, we really don't care. Like, keep your soccer and your hockey and your lacrosse, put that somewhere else. We don't want to see it. All right. But I am going to talk a little bit about it because, like I mentioned earlier in the previous segment about women's sports, we care about sports more when it says America on the chest of whoever is representing us, right? Like when it says USA on the front, we care more about that. We care more about it. It doesn't matter if they're women who we use our dollars to prove that we don't really care that much. If they're representing America, we care. We don't watch soccer, but if U.S. soccer is about to fail to make the World Cup, we care, right? Our under-23 team has failed now to make the World Cup back-to-back years. They lost recently to Colombia. So the future of U.S. soccer doesn't appear to be all that bright. If that's the future, now we've got to focus on the present. And at the present, the men almost didn't make the team either. Sure. Did they beat up on Guatemala yesterday? They did. They routed them 4-0. I almost said the even more pretentious 4-0. Don't do that. You're American. Say 4-0. 4-0. Don't be pretentious. People just become soccer heads overnight and start doing stuff like that, by the way. That's something that bothers me. You start talking about 4-0. Where did you grow up? Did you grow up in Chattanooga? Then stop talking about nil. You're not European, okay? Stop it. We say 0 and nothing over here. We use pounds and ounces and quarts. So take that away from me. But back onto the subject. I'm full of side rants today. I'm telling you. They're coming. You haven't seen the last of it. The U.S. men's soccer, it's pretty terrible. It's pretty terrible. Now, they beat Guatemala 4-0 yesterday, like they were supposed to, okay? We were sitting there watching with bated breath, but honestly, they do have a better team than at least Guatemala. But Guatemala beat them 2 weeks ago and put them in this danger in the first place. And Jurgen Klinsmann, U.S. head coach, coaching for his soccer job and therefore life, right? Like this is, and I'm not the guy that's on the table going, you know what, Jurgen Klinsmann, let's get rid of Jurgen Klinsmann. But let's put it this way. If he had failed to make this World Cup, there wouldn't be a whole lot left to defend him with. There would not be a whole lot left to defend him with. We haven't done anything in the last 2 World Cups that we've been in underneath him, and missing the World Cup entirely, boy. Okay. And the U.S., we're seeing a team that, like, when it's desperate, they're capable of winning games, but there's something about the way that we play. We're not good. And I do think it's a talent issue. Okay. Again, talked about it in the previous segment. The people go where they can be seen. People go where there's visibility. Why do superstars go to LA? If you're an aspiring actor or actress, where do you go? You go to New York. You go to LA. Overwhelmingly, for your just the sheer chance of being seen goes up. Okay, whether that's on the stage, whether that's on film, musicians, where do you go? You want to make music in this state? You go to Nashville. Okay, you want to make blues? Go to Memphis. You go where the most eyeballs will be watching you doing the thing that you're trying to do. In the U.S., you want to be an athlete. It's not soccer. We don't care. All of our best players play football, basketball, and baseball. Even as baseball is declining, we're seeing new stars appear in the game playing at a higher level than a lot of veterans. Okay, I mean, you can go down the list. Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Manny Machado. You know, you could just you could keep going forever, and you're not seeing this happen in soccer. It's not happening. We've got a league. We've got the MLS. The MLS is actually growing. Okay, it's not dwindling away. It's not a dying sport. But you know what? I still don't care. And that's not where anybody's going. All of our best players, best athletes play the sports where they've got the most exposure. Soccer ain't it. You can't make the most money there. You can't. I mean, if Team USA won a gold medal, you'd be set for life. But that's such a gigantic if. let's go back to our UConn conversation. If you were a young lady and you had the opportunity to sit on the bench at UConn, you take it over sitting on the bench at Tennessee or starting at Tennessee. Why? Because Tennessee's in decline. You just go where the visibility is. It's not even that Tennessee's bad. And by the way, Tennessee did a great job in the tournament for all of the flack that they caught this season. And Holly Warlick took a ton. She's an incredible coach, I think. But she hasn't had the talent that Pat Summitt had to work with. And part of it, too, is that a lot of people are expecting her to be Pat Summitt. She's not Pat Summitt. Okay? Pat Summitt is one of the top coaches to ever coach the sport. Not just women's basketball, period. Pat Summitt is you made a Rushmore of coaches, of women's college basketball coaches. You better have Pat Summitt up there. Okay? And you could talk me into her being just top basketball coaches, period, of all time. She's been that good and that transformative for the sport. It was unfair from the beginning to expect Holly Warlick to be Pat Summitt. Just wasn't fair. And she did an amazing job. She caught a lot of flack early in the season when the team was struggling. She righted the ship. Team makes an Elite Eight appearance. We're not giving her credit because we're focused on UConn, as we should be. They're that good. But something's wrong there, where if someone could start for Tennessee, they might still go to the bench for UConn. If you get an opportunity to play in a UConn blowout, and it's a very high likelihood the way that they've been dusting some of the teams that they've run into. If you've been running into UConn, or if you've got an opportunity to play on UConn, you take it. People might actually see you, even if you're coming off the bench. Your odds are better there because nobody's watching. People are watching Tennessee basketball. I don't want to say nobody. That's not necessarily true. People aren't watching Tennessee women's college basketball at the rate that they were because Pat Summitt's not there. I mean, that's a huge part of it. Part of the allure of Tennessee and the reason why they were able to recruit so well was the opportunity to play for a coach that amazing. You got to take it. So I don't want to see, ultimately, and I'm getting back around to my main point, which is that I don't want to see people thumbing their nose down at women getting more opportunities to coach in the men's game and to be front office workers in the men's game and referee in the men's game when we've got men like Gino Auriemma dominating college sports for women. Okay, it seems perfectly fine. We don't talk about how inappropriate it is that a man is coaching a locker room full of college-aged women. It's not inappropriate in the context of coach-player because that's a student-teacher relationship. But we don't want women in the locker room reporting on men's sports. That doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. So I did bend the conversation back towards the original topic because I told you this is we are talking about sexism a little bit. It's just how it is. So we're talking about those things, but I want to lighten it up here. We're about to head out, and I'd like to thank you for listening to Clutch with Keon Rose. That's me every day from 6 to 7. Check me out. Check out the Hot News Talk Radio YouTube channel. Make sure if you're on YouTube right now, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button down there. It won't cost you a thing. Won't cost you a thing. Hit the subscribe button. It's free. What's the worst that could happen? You get to see my face every single day. I'm not saying it's great. I've got allergies, so I know it's not great. But hear me out now. Every single day, sports takes. Imagine that. So subscribe. But I want to transition here a little bit onto who are you? Right? Who are you? The best you. Tennessee wants to claim the identity of wide receiver you. I'm going to talk about wide receiver you because it does involve Tennessee. I personally think that Tennessee qualifies, and I think that they've produced a number of great wide receivers that at least while they were in college, like at the very least while they were in college, played at a very, very high level. And it's crazy because there's schools like Miami and LSU and USC, and they have an argument. They do. They've got a strong argument But Tennessee, first off, they've got some work to do to take that title back. I don't think they're wide receiver U now. But I think over the long haul, they should be in that conversation. So I was doing some research when I was doing my show prep. I came across an NFL.com article on the subject, like who is wide receiver U? And something came back that made me a little mad. I was looking through the top 10 list of wide receiver U teams. They had Pittsburgh, like I said, USC, LSU, Miami. No Tennessee. Crazy, right? Like not in the top 10. Not at all in the top 10. I was appalled. I mean, let's go down the list of some of these players, okay, that played and ended up playing on Sundays as well, okay? You've got guys like Robert Meacham, Joey Kent, Derek Rogers, like players that played incredibly when they were in college. He led the SEC, Derek Rogers did in 2011 with 67 receptions. Cordarrelle Patterson led the SEC in all-purpose yards. I mean, he's not even so much a wide receiver, so much as an offensive weapon. Put the ball in his hands, he'll figure out how to score. Cordarrelle Patterson is one of the most exciting players I've ever seen live, if not the most exciting player. I mean, I have to think about it, but he's up there. Okay, probably a Cam Newton as well. There have been a lot of explosive athletes, but Cordarrelle Patterson, in terms of not being a quarterback and not always having the ball in his hands, if your team was creative enough to figure out how to get him the ball, he could do amazing things. Preston Williams, pledged to be a Vol in 2015. We're hoping he develops into a receiver that helps to take that moniker back a little bit. But I was just a little surprised that Tennessee wasn't on that list. And I'll read to you the list because it's a good list. I just, I'm a little partial to the Vols on that one, I guess. I'm not a Tennessee fan, but I'm telling you that's an odd list that doesn't have them on it. Okay. Pittsburgh is one. Georgia Tech is an interesting choice for wide receiver U because while they have produced the likes of Calvin Johnson, Demaryius Thomas, and even Stephen Hill, they don't run an offense that is actually conducive to being a wide receiver. They're much more of a running school, and they take the long ball as a last-ditch effort. So while they are on the list, I mean, I guess the talent that came out of there, but they didn't have the numbers while they were playing, right? I think it's to me, to be on the list, while you were playing in college, you had to have the numbers. Also, to be on the list, you had to have produced guys that would play on Sunday that weren't like huge busts. If a guy made it to the NFL and was average, I don't think that should take away from the fact that he was a great college player. That seems unfair, and I'd rather not do the list that way. So I understand why Georgia Tech would be on their list. I wouldn't have them on the list. That's an elite list, though. Calvin Johnson, Demaryius Thomas. And then you got other guys as well. DeAndre Smelter, Darren Waller that are entering the league more recently, and we'll see if anything ever comes of that. But I wouldn't have them on the list. Their offense isn't geared towards being wide receiver U. Maybe that's just me. You jump up a little bit on the list. There's Florida. There's Ohio State because you got Ted Ginn Jr., Devin Smith, who's going to be who was a rookie last season. But you've got some players that didn't pan out. So, like, if you're punishing Tennessee for not having, like, NFL guys, like Ohio State shouldn't be 5 on this list. Right? Florida State is another good one because you've got Kelvin Benjamin, Anquan Bolden, Javon Walker. You've had solid guys. USC, obviously, in the mix. Mike Williams. Nelson Aguilar is, he hasn't played very well since he's gotten into the league, but he was great in college. He's fantastic. LSU's got Dwayne Bowe, Odell Beckham Jr., and Jarvis Landry, as well as Brandon LaFell and Ruben Randall.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Expecting easy clouds and milder weather out there through the nighttime lows, only around 60. For Thursday, morning showers and thunder showers will pass through. Then the break in the action, highs lower 70s. Then another round of scattered showers and storms late with drier weather returning on Friday. Join us for a great worship experience at Abba's House in Hickson, featuring inspiring messages by Pastor Ron Phillips and activities for all ages. Services start Sunday mornings at 10:30. More at abbashouse.com. And I'm Source Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
And we'll get that straightened out, folks. We having a little bit of a technical difficulty there, Mr. Patrick Core giving you the weather. Make sure to check out the Bloom Sky app for your most in weather here in Chattanooga. And we'll continue our conversation of who are you later this week. And as we move toward the draft, it's only 4 weeks away. You're listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. Remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Stay clutch, and I'll see you in 24 hours.
Shake, shake, shake it at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. The most delicious and unique milkshakes. How about this for delicious and different? Add freshly cooked bacon to any milkshake.
Is that even legal?
You bet your milkshake and booty it is. Chocolate caramel bacon shake. Coffee caramel shake. All hand blended. Shake, shake, shake it. Down at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Just about any flavor shake that you can imagine. And they are delicious. Get your shake, shake, shake on at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Five Guys Burgers and Fries, located in Hickson at North Point. Gun Barrel at the Walmart Center. Downtown 4th and Broad. And in Cleveland at Keith and Stewart.
Sign up today. You want to take these classes. 50% off. Limited time offer. 50% off of all classes at P5 Preparedness. Space is limited. Sign up today. 50% off of all of their classes at P5 Preparedness.
P5 Preparedness on East Brainerd between Gun Barrel and I-75. Look for the Green Army truck, 423-602-2175. Look for us on Facebook.
In the middle of our street. Hi, I'm Sabrina with Sabrina Realty Associates. Now is a great time to sell your home. In our area, inventory is at an all-time low, which translates into higher sales prices. Call us today at 423-499-7780 to set up a free consultation and discuss our unique and aggressive marketing programs. We will provide you with a free market analysis to determine the right value of your home. Call us today at 423-499-7780 or visit our website at SabrinaRealty.com.
Our house in the middle of our street. Our house.
On your signature, you can get $150,000. Can you believe that? $150,000 on your signature. Hi, I'm Bruce Krebs with the Entrepreneur Source. There's a program right now that you can get $150,000 on your signature with no pledge of collateral or personal guarantee. Call me at 423-875-5621 to learn more. 423-875-5621. You've been thinking about starting a business? Don't do it on your own.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
WSDT Sunny Daisy, Chattanooga.
The Republican frontrunner with another stunner. A new controversy about Donald Trump, what he said about abortion. I'm Dan Ravi. Something new on the Health Watch.
Pioneering transplant surgery
expands the donor pool and expands opportunities for those with HIV.
I'm Barry Bagnetto in Washington.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jim Taylor. Punish the woman. It's the latest hyperbole from Donald Trump.
I am pro-life.
Because Trump says he wants abortion to be illegal with some exceptions. Chris Matthews on MSNBC kept asking, should women be punished?
There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah.
Pundits immediately said Trump's been having trouble with female voters, and now one of his Republican rivals, John Kasich, opposed to abortions, he says.
Difficult enough situation, but of course women shouldn't be punished.
Trump has issued a statement to clarify if abortion is outlawed, the doctor or anyone who performs an abortion would be liable. The woman and the fetus would be victims. Trump adding, my position has not changed.
Dan Raviv, CBS News.
Here's CBS News senior political editor Steve Chigueras.
He is, let's just to put it bluntly, stepped in it many times since he's announced his candidacy in June. And every time he seems to weather the storm.
Reaction from Terry O'Neill, president of the National Organization for Women.
Donald Trump has simply taken the mask off. It is one of the most horrific aspects of what has become the entire Republican Party's anti-woman agenda.
Seizing on that perception, though, candidate Ted Cruz today holding a rally addressing women's issues. He is leading Trump in the latest polls in Wisconsin, which does hold its primary next Tuesday. Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton unleashing a scathing attack on Donald Trump today, saying just when you thought it couldn't get worse, calls it horrific and telling. Earlier at a rally at the Apollo Theater in New York City.
With your help, we're going to win the primary here on April 19th. And then we're going to win the Democratic nomination and the election in November.
Her rival, Bernie Sanders, leads in the latest Democratic polling in Wisconsin. A breakthrough in transplant surgery that will benefit patients with HIV.
HIV patients in desperate need of organs now have a new source, donors with the disease. Johns Hopkins surgeons have performed the world's first HIV to HIV kidney transplant and America's first such kidney transplant. Both patients are doing well. The donor is a deceased woman.
We've started researching the potential of HIV-positive living donation as well.
Dr. Dori Segev says this new approach is being taught to other transplant centers, about 30 so far.
So that patients can have the opportunity for these HIV to HIV transplants across the United States.
Barry Bagnetto, CBS News, Washington.
The Dow up again today, rising 83 points to end at 17,716. Now this.
Are you hiring but not sure where to find the best candidates? As a business owner, I can tell you that your company is only as good as the people you hire. I can also tell you that posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates. But when you're short-staffed, there's no time to deal with the dozens of different job sites. Until now, thanks to ZipRecruiter.com, I can post to 100-plus job sites with one single click and be instantly matched to candidates from over 6 million resumes. Just post once, and within 24 hours, watch your candidates roll into ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. ZipRecruiter has been used by over 400,000 businesses, and you can try it right now for free. Getting the right people for your company is so important. Try ZipRecruiter and get your perfect candidate before they go to somebody else. Today, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/talk. That's ZipRecruiter.com/talk. Again, ZipRecruiter.com/talk.
Ice and snow. Less of it in the Antarctic, more of it in California.
The size of California's snowpack is improving. It's gone from 5% of normal last year to around 90%. Frank Gerke of the state's Department of Water Resources made the announcement from a snow-covered field.
This was a dry, dusty field last year. So a big improvement compared to last year, but not what we had hoped for.
In other words, the drought isn't over. El Nino did help, but more help is needed. Steve Futterman, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Parts of Antarctica's western ice sheet melting far faster than scientists had previously thought, which is leading to fast rising sea levels.
There's the potential for a really massive sea level rise. It might be so large that it's almost getting beyond us in terms of being able to cope with in a sort of geoengineering sense.
Robert DeCanto is a climate scientist at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. You're listening to the CBS World News Roundup.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a select code agent with the True Story.
AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, with your chance to win $124 in cash and $124 in food every week with the Hot News Talk Radio Five Guys Burgers and Fries 1, 2, 3 NASCAR contest. All you have to do is guess who's going to be first, second, and third place in the upcoming NASCAR Sprint Cup race. If you guess it, you'll hear your name live Monday morning at 11:30. Then call AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio to win. Enter your guess right now at Five Guys Burgers and Fries, 153 in Hickson, featuring the juiciest 100% all beef, have it your way hamburgers and the most delicious milkshakes in town. Enter your guesses now at Five Guys Burgers and Fries, Route 153 in Hickson. Then listen to the race live to win $124 in cash and $124 in food from Five Guys Burgers and Fries and Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Hot News Talk 1240.
I love NASCAR.
Expect increasing clouds and milder weather out there through the nighttime. Lows only around 60. For Thursday, morning showers and thunder showers will pass through. Then the break in the action, highs lower 70s. Then another round of scattered showers and storms late with drier weather returning on Friday. Join us for a great worship experience at Abba's House in Hickson, featuring inspiring messages by Pastor Ron Phillips and activities for all ages. Services start Sunday mornings at 10:30. More at abbashouse.com. And I'm Source Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
Sign up today. You want to take these classes. 50% off. Limited time offer. 50% off of all classes at P5 Preparedness.